It was 1940. The world was on fire. One man stood before his country with nothing but words. No army was ready, no victory was certain. But Winston Churchill spoke, and somehow people believed. He was not always a hero. In fact, most of his life, people thought he was a failure. If you enjoy learning English through real stories like this, subscribe to Story World English for more. It was a cold November morning in 1874 in Blenheim Palace, England. Winston Leonard Spencer Churchill was born into one of the most powerful families in Britain. His family had money, his family had history, his family had a famous name, but power does not mean love. Winston's father, Lord Randolph Churchill, was a brilliant politician, cold, busy and distant. His mother, Jenny, was an American beauty, charming, social, and always somewhere else. From the very beginning, Winston Churchill came into a world full of privilege, but also full of silence, full of loneliness, and full of a deep, quiet hunger to be seen. Winston was not a happy child. He was sent to boarding school at age 7. The school was cold and strict. The teachers were cruel. Winston was small, weak, and often sick. He struggled with his lessons. He stuttered when he spoke. Other boys did not like him. He wrote letters to his mother, long, sad letters. He begged her to visit. She almost never came. His father barely spoke to him. Lord Randolph once said that Winston was not intelligent enough for law, not good enough for anything serious. Imagine hearing that from your own father. Winston heard it. He felt it. And somewhere deep inside, he decided, quietly, painfully, that he would prove them wrong. But there was one thing Winston loved: words. He read everything he could find: history books, poetry, political speeches. He memorized long passages. He practiced speaking alone in his room. He fell in love with the English language, its rhythm, its power, its ability to move people. At military college, something changed. Winston was not the smartest student, but he was the most passionate writer. His essays were vivid. His descriptions were alive. His teachers noticed. He began to understand something important. A sword can win a battle, but words, the right words, spoken at the right moment, can win a war. Winston Churchill had found his weapon, but the world was not waiting for Winston Churchill. It was a tense, dangerous time in Europe. Empires were competing, armies were growing, political power was everything. And Winston, young, loud, and always too confident, made many enemies. He entered politics in 1900. He had ideas, strong ideas. He spoke them boldly, too boldly, many said. People did not trust him. They called him reckless. They called him arrogant. They said he loved war too much. And then came his biggest early disaster. In World War I, Winston made a terrible military decision at Gallipoli. Thousands of soldiers died. The mission failed completely. The blame fell on him. And it nearly destroyed everything. It was a grey afternoon in London, 1915. Winston Churchill sat alone in his office. He had just been removed from his position. His career was finished, people said. His reputation was gone. The Gallipoli disaster had cost thousands of lives. And the newspapers were brutal. He was 40 years old. He felt like a complete failure. He later wrote that he felt a black cloud descend over him. He called it his black dog, a deep, heavy sadness that never fully left him. We know today this was depression. Real, serious, painful depression. His friends disappeared. His enemies grew louder. Even his own party turned away. Winston Churchill, the man who would one day save Europe, sat in silence, alone, forgotten, wondering if his life had meant anything at all. It was a warm evening in London, May 1940. Germany had taken France. It had taken Belgium. It had taken Denmark and Norway. Adolf Hitler's army was moving fast, too fast. And Britain stood almost alone. The British government was divided. Many powerful men wanted peace. They wanted to negotiate with Hitler. They wanted to survive by surrendering. Winston Churchill had just become Prime Minister. He was 65 years old. He had waited his entire life for this moment. He walked into the cabinet room. The most powerful men in Britain sat around the table. Some of them believed fighting was hopeless. Some of them were afraid. Winston looked at them slowly. Then he spoke. He did not shout. He did not perform. He spoke quietly, clearly, with absolute certainty. We shall never surrender. The room went silent. One man began to cry. Then another. Then several ministers stood up and patted Churchill on the back. In that one moment, with 5 words, Winston Churchill changed the course of history. And then Winston Churchill went to work. Every morning he woke early. He read intelligence reports in bed. He dictated letters, speeches, and orders, sometimes still in his pajamas. He worked 18 hours a day. He never stopped. He visited bombed cities. He walked through rubble and smoke. He stood with ordinary people who had lost their homes. He held his hand up in a V for victory. And people believed him. His speeches filled the radio. They filled living rooms, factories, and shelters. People listened with tears in their eyes. We shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight in the fields. We shall never surrender. His words became weapons. His voice became armor. Britain did not break. Britain did not bow. And slowly, very slowly, the tide began to turn. It was a bright morning in London, May 1945. The war in Europe was over. Germany had surrendered. Adolf Hitler was dead. The long nightmare was finally finished. Winston Churchill stepped outside. The streets of London were filled with people. Thousands of them, hundreds of thousands. They were laughing. They were crying. They were holding each other. Winston stood on a balcony above the crowd. He raised his hand. He made his famous V sign. The crowd exploded. They chanted his name. They waved flags. They wept with joy. These were people who had survived bombs falling on their homes. People who had lost fathers, sons, brothers. People who had been afraid for 5 long years. And they looked up at this old man, this difficult, complicated, extraordinary man, and they cheered. Winston Churchill did not just win a war. He gave people something much more powerful than victory. He gave them the courage to believe, when belief was almost impossible. But history is never simple. It was a quiet summer in London, July 1945. The war had just ended. Britain was celebrating. And the British people held a general election. They voted Winston Churchill out of power. The man who had saved their country. The man whose voice had carried them through 5 years of darkness. Gone. Removed. Replaced. Winston heard the result on the radio. He sat very still. Then he said, quietly, "It seems they don't want me anymore." His wife Clementine tried to comfort him. She said perhaps it was a blessing in disguise. Winston looked at her and replied, "At the moment it is very well disguised." He was hurt, deeply hurt. But he did not collapse. He picked up his paintbrush. He wrote his memoirs, and he kept walking forward. Winston Churchill lived until he was 90 years old. He returned to power once more in 1951. He won the Nobel Prize, not for peace, but for literature, for his writing, for his words. The boy who stuttered. The student his father called unintelligent. The politician blamed for thousands of deaths. He became one of the greatest writers in the English language. When he died in 1965, the world stopped. 300,000 people lined the streets of London to say goodbye. World leaders flew in from every country. Flags were lowered across the globe. Winston Churchill had changed the course of human history. Not with an army, not with money, but with words, with courage, with an unbreakable will to never ever give up. But Winston Churchill was not perfect. He held views about race and empire that were deeply wrong. He believed Britain had the right to rule other countries. He said things about Indian and African people that were cruel and unjust. During a terrible famine in India, his decisions made suffering worse. Many historians do not forgive this, and they should not. Some say he was a product of his time. Maybe this is partly true. But it does not excuse everything. Winston Churchill was brilliant. He was brave. He was also capable of great cruelty. He was human, fully, completely, uncomfortably human. And that is part of what makes his story so important to understand. So what can we learn from Winston Churchill? We learn that failure is not the end. Winston failed many times, publicly, painfully, but he never let failure become his final story. We learn that your greatest weakness can become your greatest strength. Winston stuttered as a child. He struggled with words, and yet words became his most powerful weapon. We learn that courage is not the absence of fear. Winston knew fear. He knew darkness. He knew depression, but he kept moving. And we learn this: the world does not always reward you. Sometimes it removes you. Sometimes it forgets you. But if you keep going, history remembers. Winston Churchill fell in love with the English language. He read it. He studied it. He practiced it alone in his room when nobody was watching. He used it to connect with people, to inspire courage, to change the world. Today, you are doing something very similar. You are learning English. Some days are hard. Some days, the words do not come easily. But you are here. You are listening. You are growing. Every story you understand is a small victory. Every word you learn is a step forward. Winston never stopped learning. Neither should you. If this story touched you, please like this video and subscribe to Story World English for more. Leave a comment below. Tell me which part of Winston Churchill's story moved you the most. He built greatness, one word at a time. So, can you?